All right, guys. It's late. Saturday night. Must mean it's time for In and Out. I'm very tired. I got to get up real early to kick you guys off with Beer Fueled Fantasy live on Sunday morning, 7:30 in the morning Central Time. And I'm going to try to run through this and get you guys covered with every single major fantasy relevant injury, including defensive players, offensive linemen that are going to affect their games, so you guys are completely ready to go and win your weeks. I'm at Nick Sparts. Do this every single week. If you're new to the show, please like and subscribe to the show at Beer Fueled Fantasy Football on YouTube. And if you want to tweet any start-sit questions for us to answer for you tomorrow morning, please tweet at the show at BeerFueledFF on Twitter. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. Kicking us off here, we've got Aaron Rodgers telling us that he's not sure when he's going to return this year. Earliest he can return is Week 15. Realistically, 16 or 17 is the earliest he can possibly come back from that injury. It is a clavicle on his right shoulder, which is his throwing arm. Just don't expect the best return from this. I think fantasy-wise, unless you're in a Week 17 playoff league, you shouldn't be. But if you are, he may be worth holding there. Any other sort of league, I don't think it's worth the odds of eating a roster spot to bring him on unless you have an IR slot. So any sort of redraft league, buy. Keeper Dynasty, obviously you hold on, you wait till next year because Aaron Rodgers will be back and fine then. Delaney Walker, left on crutches after Week 7. They're on bye this week, but the report is he may come back Week 9 after they come back from their bye week. If he does come back, he's a locked and loaded top 10 tight end, one of the better ones in the league, so great news if you get him. If he doesn't play, Jonnu Smith is the guy you want to grab. He will fill in for him, he'll get all his snaps, and he's a very solid rookie. I actually would plug and play him next week because tight end's just a mess. A guy getting targets from Mariota and getting all the snaps is a guy I want to start. 9 News Denver's Mike Kliss suggests that the Broncos may start giving Jamaal Charles more work. It's looking like this might turn into a 20-40-40 backfield split between Booker, Charles, and C.J. Anderson, which is bad news for C.J. Anderson owners. Pulls him down into a low-end RB2 flex play. Jamaal Charles bumps up into a low-end flex play, maybe even a little higher, and Devontae Booker is still just stealing snaps and catches from the other two. 20% of snaps and 5 touches a game is not enough to start a player on. Redskins did sign offensive guard Orlando Franklin. Between Brandon Treff, Trent Williams, Morgan Moses, this offensive line is completely decimated. It's looking very similar to Vikings' offensive line of last year in terms of injuries. They're in bad shape, and they're just trying to bring bodies in to try to patch this thing together. They have a few players who may be borderline shut down if things go bad for this season, and it looks like they're going to start losing. So they do need to bring players in to help compensate for that fact. So look for more depth signings in the futures. I don't think they're done with the offensive line market yet. Packers tight end Martellus Bennett plans to retire after this season. So it is Martellus Bennett. He may be blowing smoke up our ass. But if you are in any sort of dynasty format, now would be a good time to part with Mr. Bennett before this news fully spreads around everybody. So if you can sell him now to a contender who's looking to win and may want to pay up for somebody that may think get a few more years, it's definitely something you could see. This is a bit strange. He's 30 years old. Most tight ends that are dominant can play through 32 to 34, so you would have expected another year or two out of him at minimum. Looks like we're not going to get it, though, so if you're a dynasty owner, pull the plug, get out now. Lastly in the news, Coach Ron Rivera indicated that running back Cameron Artis-Payne may see snaps on passing downs over Christian McCaffrey. The goal here is not that McCaffrey's bad. It's that he's small. He's about 205 pounds. Not the kind of back you want to be getting in there picking up blockers on a regular basis. Artis-Payne is close to about 225, and he's built for picking up linebackers a little bit more. So they're going to try to get a few less snaps on the field for Mr. McCaffrey and hopefully try to protect him a little bit more, make sure they don't lose their best asset. Let's head on to injuries. Kicking us off bright and early in the morning, 8:30 a.m. kickoff Central Time. Vikings at the Browns in London. Starting off with the Vikings, they are technically the road team. Stephon Diggs is questionable with his groin injury, but he is expected to play. He may not play his full complement of snaps, though, so I'm still ranking Adam Thielen ahead of him in my slotting him above in my rankings. Offensive tackle Riley Reiff is questionable with a knee injury, but he did get a full practice in Thursday and Friday. Should play this week. Guard Nick Easton is questionable with a calf injury. He got limited sessions in all week, is expected to play. So the Vikings offensive line should be intact based on what we're seeing here. For the Browns, all their injuries are on the defensive side of the ball, namely defensive end Myles Garrett had a concussion, did not travel with the team to London and will not play. And cornerback Jason McCourty is doubtful with an ankle injury, is likely going to miss. He is their best cover corner. He likely would be following Thielen around if Thielen's outside, or if Diggs is kicked to the outside, he'd be following Diggs around. So it's a bump to whichever one of them is going to miss McCourty. On to Bears and Saints. Real quick here, there's only two major injuries of note. Running back Benny Cunningham is questionable with the same hamstring injury he was inactive with last week. Will be a game-time decision. I don't think he goes. This is a bump to Tariq Cohen. Cohen loses touches when Cunningham is in the game. He'll probably will see 3 or 4 more with Cunningham missing. If Cunningham is active, I would downgrade Cohen in your rankings. Guard Larry Warford for the Saints is going to miss. This is a ding to their running game. He's a very, very good internal blocker. Their offensive line is a little dinged up, struggling. Got a lot of guys playing through injuries, so slightly downgrade your expectations for the run game, but Mark Ingram is still a must-start, and I still love Alvin Kamara this week. Falcons at Jets. Falcons, they're coming in fine. They're missing a couple. They have a couple dinged-up linebackers, but nothing really I'm worried about in terms of impacting their fantasy defense, and their offense is fully healthy. For the Jets, the only player of note that I was worried about is they're missing right tackle Brandon Shell. He is out. They're going to have their backup right tackle in, so that might be a ding to Forte and Powell, which were flex plays this week, and it may hurt the passing game a little bit, so Curse, which is the other main, and Austin Seferian-Jenkins may not quite get as good a day as you're hoping. Only a slight ding overall, though. Panthers at Buccaneers. Center Ryan Khalil is out again with his neck injury. They're got to be about to the point where they're going to just shut him down for the year. Him being out hurts this entire run blocking scheme. He's really, really good at setting blocks and assignments, and they've been suffering greatly, and Cam's just been getting killed since he went out. Thankfully, the Buccaneers don't have much of a pass rush right now, so he should be okay this week, but Khalil needs to get healthy to protect Cam. Tight end Ed Dickson is dealing with an ankle injury, popped up on the injury report, but it looks like he's fully practicing, ready to go, so Ed Dickson can be in your starting lineup this week, and I actually do like this matchup against a beat-up Buccaneers defense. Lastly, for the Panthers, Luke Kuechly, questionable play with a concussion, but he did clear the protocol, and everything, all reports are saying he will play. Big bump to the Panthers defense. They're much better when he's out there. Doug Martin is going to be the main person hurt by that news. On the Buccaneers side, quarterback Jameis Winston is questionable with a shoulder injury. He is going to play tomorrow. He played through the same injury last week and gave you a great game against the Bills. I'm rolling him out there against the Panthers. And then for the Buccaneers defense, Brent Grimes and Robert McClain are going to miss, along with Josh Robinson, the backup. So start Funchess, start Benjamin. It's going to be a good week for Carolina pass catchers as long as that offensive line can keep Cam upright. On to 49ers at the Eagles, a.k.a. Eagles cover the over-under by themselves game. For the 49ers, defensive end Aaron Lynch is going to miss with a calf injury, so even though it's not there's a little bit of concern with the left tackle Marcus Peters getting hurt, Jason Peters getting hurt for the Eagles. The pass rush of the 49ers shouldn't be at 100%, so that should help. And then Marquise Goodwin is questionable with a back injury. He is expected to go, and then tackle Trent Brown for the 49ers offense is questionable with a concussion, is not expected to play. So slight ding to Hyde, slight ding to the overall passing game. Only two players I'm starting out of this game are Hyde and Garcon. On the Eagles side, the only injury of note is cornerback Ronald Darby is questionable with an ankle injury. He's still not 100% back in game shape, so I don't think they let him play this week. I think they gave him one more week to recover, and then they'll try to get him back after they get through their bye week. Moving on to Raiders at Bills. Raiders are just destroyed in the secondary. Quarterback David Emerson, cornerback Garyon Conley, and safety Carl Joseph are all expected to not play this week. So expect the Bills to actually be able to move the ball downfield. Zay Jones is not a bad YOLO start, and Deontay Thompson may not even be a bad play either. On the offensive line for the Raiders, offensive tackle Marshall Newhouse is questionable with a foot injury, probably won't play. He got limited sessions in all week. He plays right tackle for the Raiders, so that is a little bit of a ding to Richard and Washington's running performance that you can expect out of them. It is a very good front seven they're facing. On the Bills side, tight end Charles Clay is going to miss again this week. He's still dealing with his knee injury. It's still looking like it's probably another week or two away, so I think we're probably looking at a Week 10 return for him. If you got an IR spot, though, and someone was dumb enough to drop him, though, pick him up and stash him because you should be getting him back shortly, and he was a top 5 tight end when he was playing. Colts and Bengals, last of the noon game, or second to last of the noon games. Wide receiver Kamar Aiken was upgraded to full practice after his concussion, and he's expected to play, so he'll be the wide receiver 3 in that Colts offense. Center Ryan Kelly for the Colts offensive line is questionable with a foot injury, but should finally make his return this week. That does bolster that offensive line for the Colts quite a bit. Does help Marlon Mack and Frank Gore out. And then on the Bengals side, Tyler Boyd is out with his knee injury again. It's Tyler Boyd. He's basically been a massive disappointment this year. Sorry to any Dynasty Tyler Boyd owners. Chargers-Patriots. This is the last of the noon games. For the Chargers, offensive tackle Joseph Barksdale is out with a foot injury. Slight ding to Melvin Gordon. That offensive line has been dealing with some health injuries. Also, Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, and Hunter Henry may be slight dings to that as well. Running back Melvin Gordon is questionable with his foot injury, but he's fully expected to play. He's been playing through injuries basically every week and still getting a massive workload. He's trying to go for some sort of touch record this year. They're giving him 25 to 35 touches every single game, it seems. For the Patriots, linebacker Deontay Hightower is done for the year, so this will be the last time I talk about him on any of these reports, but don't expect any more Hightower. And defensive back Eric Rowe are out for the Patriots defense. So Patriots defense, which already isn't very good, is going to be running on limited personnel this week. I do love Phillip Rivers this week. I love Keenan Allen. I think these guys are really going to produce against this bad defense. For the Patriots, offensive side, wide receiver Danny Amendola had some real heavy question marks after a knee injury flared up, but now it's reported that he's expected to go, and he got a full practice in on Friday. So if you're starting Danny Amendola as kind of a deep flex play this week, he should be fine for you. Texans at Seahawks. Texans are healthy. Nobody of note on their side of the ball. For the Seahawks, they're missing guard Luke Joeckel. He's out. Ding to the offensive line for the Seahawks. They also have center Justin Britt, questionable with an ankle injury. Got a limited session in. I don't think he goes either. So the run game should be just a complete dumpster fire for the Seahawks, even more than usual. So downgrade Lacey, downgrade Rawls, and then running back CJ Prosise, doubtful with an ankle injury. Expected he misses at least this week, may miss next week as well. He just can't seem to get his ankle healthy this year. It may be a situation where he needs an offseason to get that healed if he keeps re-aggravating it. Cowboys-Redskins. Quarterback Chidobe Awuzie is out again this week. He's been struggling with injuries all season. He's flashed when he's played. He's looked like a solid rookie cornerback, but he just can't seem to get himself healthy. Kicker Dan Bailey is also out, going to be out probably 4 weeks, and Mike Nugent is his replacement at this time. So if you got Dan Bailey, you shouldn't drop him, swap him out for somebody else, maybe the Mike. Redskins have a ton of injuries, namely on the offensive line. As I mentioned, Morgan Moses, Brandon Sheff, Trent Williams, and I think there's others that are injured as well. I think they may have injuries to all 5 offensive linemen. I expect at least a couple to miss this week. They're probably not running at full strength. Rob Kelly's going to be struggling. The passing game's likely going to be struggling. I think they use a lot of dink and dunk offense. It's going to go a lot through Thompson, Reed, maybe Crowder, maybe Doxson. That's about all you can really start besides Cousins this week. Cowboys don't have a great defense, so Cousins should still be a good play, but it's going to be ugly on that offensive line, and Lawrence is a hell of a pass rusher. On the defensive side of the ball for the Redskins, Josh Norman is questionable with a rib injury. He was limited all week. I think it's more likely he misses than he plays. It's a massive bump to Des Bryant if there's no Josh Norman to cover him this week, so do keep a close eye on that one. Sunday night, we got Steelers-Lions. Tight end Vance McDonald is out with a knee injury, so he was stealing snaps from Jesse James. With him out, James should be close to 100% of snaps. I think he's actually a solid start this week. Lions have struggled a little bit at guarding tight ends. They're also missing offensive tackle Marcus Gilbert again. You've seen a lot of them struggling running the ball with Le'Veon Bell, with Marcus Gilbert out. They've struggled with good pass rushers on the right-hand side. So you may see some issues with that, and they may be able to get after Roethlisberger. So this is a downgrade to the whole offense with him missing. Bell will still get enough touches that he'll, even if he gets 3.5 yards a carry, he'll still give you 100 yards because they're going to feed him 30 times a game. But overall, downgrade your expectations on efficiency. Wide receiver Kenny Golladay is going to miss again with his hamstring injury. I thought he was going to be recovered from this after the bye. He's still not able to go. I don't know if he re-aggravated or if there's some other issue. Golladay is droppable at this point if he can't seem to get healthy from that. He had the bye week. I'm no longer holding him in any sort of redraft format. Offensive tackle Greg Robinson is missing with an ankle injury, so this is a ding to Abdullah, a ding to the entire offense in general. So Stafford, he's actually filled in pretty well at left tackle, and they don't really have anyone to replace him for him right at the moment. And lastly, the man himself, Golden Tate, is questionable with an AC joint sprain, and it's looking like he's going to play through it. I don't know how. They had to basically carry him off the field when he suffered this injury 2 weeks ago, but he's going to tough it out and he's going to play, it looks like. So if you have Golden Tate, I would try to have somebody else to replace him with, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster, or somebody in the Broncos-Chiefs game, say Benny Fowler, or Demarcus Robinson would be a possible fill-in as well. But if you got Golden Tate and you got another option, you can get him in your lineups. It looks like he's going to go. Let's finish up Broncos at Chiefs. Emmanuel Sanders is questionable with his ankle injury. He's gotten limited practice in all week. It looks like he will not be playing. Benny Fowler will be the replacement for him. So if you can get Benny Fowler in, he should be a solid floor play with a chance at a touchdown. And then for the Chiefs, the only major injury of note on the offensive side of the ball is guard Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. He's questionable with a knee injury. I do expect he will play. So the Chiefs offense should be at 100% strength this week. So that should be fun to look forward to. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. As always, like and subscribe to the Beer Fueled Fantasy channel here on YouTube and on Facebook at Beer Fueled FF. Give us all your start-sit questions you've got for Week 8. We'll answer them live for you at 7:30 in the morning. Otherwise, if you want to watch it before the noon kickoffs, it'll be here on the YouTube channel for you to rewatch. You can also tweet at us. We'll answer the questions there. Individually, I am at Nick Sparts. I cover Thursdays and Saturdays from here on out. You got Dan Thury, who is at ThuryBFF. He's going to cover your Monday and Wednesday content. And lastly, you got Christopher Hopper at HopBFF with 2 P's, and he is covering your Tuesday and Friday shows. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.